If you're watching this, you probably should not be spending money out of your health savings account. I'm Sean Mullaney, a financial planner. Let me tell you a little more. So what is an HSA or a health savings account? It's a tax advantage account that's associated with certain medical coverage called a high deductible health plan. And these things are great, right? Money that goes into an HSA is not currently taxed. It's excluded from your W-2 income, for example. You get a payroll tax deduction for that money, so you don't have to pay FICA tax on that. That's pretty nice. And the money grows tax-free as long as that's in an HSA. When it's withdrawn, as long as it's for qualified medical expenses, it's tax-free as well. So this is all to the upside. This is great retail tax planning. An HSA, if a high deductible plan is for you, is a good plan for you, HSAs are just great in terms of some good retail, old-fashioned tax planning. Get a deduction on the way in, no income on the way out, fantastic. So why am I saying don't spend it? The reason is that tax-free growth. If you are young, if you are affluent, if you're relatively healthy, why are you tapping into this great tax advantage account to pay for current medical expenses? There's no reason to do that. Just write a check from your checking account, put it on the credit card, get some airline miles, make sure you pay off that balance at the end of the month. But that is much better than cracking open that tax-free safe haven that you've got in the HSA and losing the benefit of the tax-free growth. Why not leave that money inside the HSA, let it grow tax-free, and track your expenses, your major medical expenses, and years down the road, what you can do is you can reimburse yourself tax-free from your HSA for the weekend warrior, for the occasional flu and cold, those sort of medical expenses that you have while you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Keep some receipts, track that, and then in your 60s, 70s, 80s, start reimbursing yourself for those costs and do it after years and years of tax-free growth, right? The medical expense bill has to get paid no matter what. Right? So the idea is let's optimize around tax planning, right? So why pay it out of an account that's just your checking account, or why not pay it out of an account that's your checking account, has no particular tax benefit to it? That's a great way to pay that medical expense versus tapping into this sort of golden HSA that you can, put money in there and it just grows tax-free for years and years and years. Once you get to age 65 is a great time to start thinking about reimbursing yourself for old medical expenses, tax-free. Another thing, starting at age 65, there are going to be certain Medicare premiums that you can reimburse yourself or just pay directly from the HSA. That's tax-free. And in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, you're probably going to have some medical expenses anyway to pay out of that HSA. I like to say you should be using an HSA to pay medical expenses if you meet one of two criteria. The first is dire, right? You get hit by a bus, you've got stage 4 cancer, heart attack, stroke, you're in a dire situation, the tax planning goes out the window, tap into the HSA, get yourself taken care of. The second is elderly, right? If you are age 65 or above, that's the time to start thinking about withdrawing money from the HSA either to reimburse for old medical expenses or pay current medical expenses and current Medicare premiums. If you're not in a dire situation and you're not in an elderly situation, you probably ought to let that tax-free growth continue inside your HSA. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.